They always say it here at All Peoples that the four hardest things is one, steel like Superman. Two, diamonds, the hardest gem there is. And three was knowing yourself. The fourth thing was then dealing with what you know. And All Peoples help you to do that because you were accepted for who you were, and the guidance that they give you was just invaluable. It starts with our young people, because the young people, as everybody knows, is our future. It takes a village to raise a child.
All People has a very interesting history, which I didn't know before I came here. When I came here, I learned more about its history, that it actually had been, before the war, a Japanese Christian church. You know, when the war came and people were forced to leave and forced removal from the community, All Peoples changed and became a different church, but it welcomed the people back after the war. So many of the members that were part of the church before the war continued on.
They tried to reunite everybody and get everybody going in the same direction. And it was great. They had sports programs, they had carnivals, little festivals, they did plays here. And of course, one of the big things that you can imagine is that the child care center. It's meat and potatoes.
As a director of a nonprofit organization, you're met with challenges every day. But what's great about the challenges is there are also personal achievements from individuals that we work with, and that's what makes it all worthwhile. When I started here, I was the only social worker, and we've been able to bring in more social workers on staff. We've been able to double the staff or even triple the staff. And that's important because it's allowed us to provide the kind of quality programs that we wanted to provide.
Buenas tardes, bienvenidos. Me llamo Sandy. La jefa.
Si hay algo que yo necesito resolver o un problema o algo, hablo con Sandy y yo sé que ella de alguna manera va a dar la solución o una opción o algo. Es mucha confianza. Yo confío mucho en Sandra porque ella se ha ganado mi confianza.
She's the one that I can tell her about my problems and my shortcomings, and she will listen to me. She's a great listener. And overall, she's just a great person. But I do see her as my big sister. And yeah.
Being poor or disadvantaged is not living in a small house. Being poor and disadvantaged is living in a small world.
When I was 2 years old, my mom was looking for childcare and she heard about All Peoples. So she brought me over here. So she put me in the daycare. It was the beginning, I guess is what you would say. I went elementary, high school, through all the programs, going to summer camp. This was my first job. And even when I graduated and went away to college, I would come back in the summer and I would work the summer. Whatever I would make would just help me with college. I majored in social work, and because I wanted to help people. All Peoples was looking for and executive director, and the current director encouraged me to apply. So it's really like a dream come true, like coming full circle to be able to come back to the community that provided me with a purpose.
She was, this young, very, young woman that had grown up in the center, cared about it very much and knew it. I think people were very excited to have her come on as the director.
Joe Day was, in fact, one of the best mentors anybody could have. He had, as I recall, I think 4 sons, but he always had room for others. He always had room for others, and a marvelous man.
He was one of the first people I met, and he mentored a lot of kids. When I came here, people had been part of the center already, some of the students, and they would always go running to Joe's office whenever something came up or a problem came up. And then I became the same way. It was sort of like I went to Joe.
He is the longest tenured employee at All Peoples. He worked here for 46 years. So he was my mentor. He worked to ensure that I was successful. He was the person that I would talk to a lot about just life. He was like the father of the community, because he was always there for you. And no matter how many times you screwed up, he never gave up on you as a person. And I found a passage where Joe was telling him that he really felt like he had done all that he could do, and that he was proud of me. See, his loss was significant, but the lessons that I learned from him were so important. And there have been times through, where I continue to feel his presence, and I know that he would be proud of where we are. Yeah.
Yo desde que yo me acuerdo que yo he asistido al centro, Sandy siempre ha sido la persona, se podría decir, la cara del centro. Decir All People es decir Saundra Bryant.
I think Sandy represents the values that they created way back, and especially of being a place for all people.
Having a person like Sandy involved in being the executive director here at All Peoples represents everything that All People stands for. That you come in, you start at the bottom, and you move up to the top. It's not just the position, it's the feeling of caring about the community. It's the feeling about giving back to the community. It's the feeling about being involved in the community and having the community feel as if it is a community. The legacy that I want Sandy to leave, that I would like for her to leave, is to show young people, particularly young females, that there is no glass ceiling and that you can go as far as you want. But the idea is to enjoy the going, enjoy the journey, and knowing that you are helping others. There's no greater feeling.